I'm Augustus. I'm traveling in the United States to listen to Americans I meet and to tell them about my candidacy for President of the United States in 2028. I'm here in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm standing at a capitol that is an architectural marvel of the Beaux-Arts and neoclassical style, crowned by a dome that is the second tallest of its kind in the country, topped by the golden statue of Wisconsin pointing her hand ever onward. That Badger State ingenuity is exactly what I intend to carry with me to DC, a reminder of a place that balances a respect for tradition with a restless drive to move forward. From the shores of the Great Lakes to the heart of the North Woods, Wisconsin knows that real leadership isn't about winning an argument, it's about honoring the social contract we have with one another. This is the 34th capital of my 50 plus 1 capitals tour. My plan seems obvious and necessary to me, but for other presidential candidates, it could be considered unnecessary and maybe even a waste of time. The plan is to visit every capital in this country over the course of about 60 days, not to give motivational speeches, but to listen. I'm here to hear about the struggles of the dairy farmers in the Cooley region, the rising property taxes making it harder for retirees to stay in their homes, and the innovators from the Fox Valley to the Eau Claire riverfront who are tired of playing a rigged game where the rules are written by and for the biggest donors. Wisconsin is the Badger State, is a title that carries a legacy of determination, born from the miners who lived in the hills they worked. Wisconsin's strength isn't just in the vibrant energy of State Street, it's the pioneering spirit of the cheesemakers and the industrial backbone of cities that have fueled this country for generations. It's the community that looks out for one another when the winter winds howl off Lake Mendota, standing firm together until the spring thaw. There is a growing gap between the politics of the moment and the people of the long haul. We are being led by a class of people who invest all their energy into winning the next 24-hour news cycle, while the families of the Badger State are investing their lives into the next generation. They treat your concerns like a seasonal interest to be harvested every few years, but you deserve a champion who knows that Wisconsin isn't a campaign stop, it's a cornerstone. They offer distraction, you offer the backbone. I'm standing here at the Wisconsin State Capitol. Its white granite walls, housing the only granite dome in the nation, serve as a beacon between the lakes. It's a symbol of authority. But the real power of the state isn't in the ornate mosaics of the rotunda or the grand staircases. It's in the resolve, the belief that forward is more than just a motto. This building was rebuilt after fire by people who understood that a republic only stands if it's rooted in the needs of the many, not the whims of the few. A dome that massive only stays up if the weight is supported by every pillar. Right now, the weight of this country is being shoved onto just a few pillars, the working class and the independent producer. And while those columns are buckling under the pressure, the people at the top are wondering why the foundation is starting to crack. We've all heard the speeches about the Wisconsin Laboratory of Democracy, but for a family watching their local school struggle or their utility bills outpace their paycheck, the government isn't showing them much besides complexity and cost. I'm not here to stand in the shadow of the Forward statue and tell you that the state of our union is strong simply because our history is proud. I'm here because, for too many of you, survival mode has become a permanent way of life. To lead Wisconsin, you have to have the courage to say out loud that when the working class loses its footing, the nation's center cannot hold. To be the leader of the whole country, you have to actually know the whole country. You have to marvel at the Great Lakes, like the vast Lake Michigan and Lake Superior shorelines that define your borders. Admire the views along the Pacific Coast Highway, cross the mighty Mississippi, and visit the beautiful Smoky Mountains. You cannot lead a people you do not know, and you cannot know the people from inside a high-flying jet, a speeding motorcade, or a gilded office in DC. Having lived in 7 states and visited all 50 at least once before, I think I have a glimmer of understanding of who we, the people of the United States, are. But you can never stop learning. That's why I'm visiting each state again, and why I will continue to do so both during my campaign and during my time in office. Now, you might be thinking, who is this guy? As I said, I'm Augustus. I was born in New York State 65 years ago. Like you, I've spent much of my life working. I've seen presidents come and go and industries rise and fall. And I've watched as the people who keep this nation functioning, the drivers on the I-94, the crews maintaining our power grid, and the staff at your local clinic are treated like sheep or cattle, not human beings. You may be asking yourself, is he qualified? The Constitution says I am. You need to decide for yourself what qualified means to you. To me, for instance, being qualified means working as hard as I can to help the most people possible. Think about the people who meet in this Capitol or in Washington, D.C. How many of them are qualified in your eyes? How many of them are working to make your childcare manageable or your fuel prices affordable? It seems to me that many representatives have forgotten the primary requirement of their jobs, remembering who they represent. They shouldn't represent the lobbyists. They shouldn't represent their party. And they definitely should not represent the ultra rich. Your representatives and the President of the United States should represent you. Period. I stand for the people, not for the corporations that treat employees like disposable parts, not for the rich and ultra rich who treat the law as a suggestion, and not for the special interests who think their way is the only way. I believe in a land of freedom and opportunity, not a land where out of state interests squeeze the life out of the towns you've called home for generations. Why consider an unaffiliated, unconventional candidate like me? Maybe because you're exhausted. You're sick of having to choose between generic candidate A and generic candidate B, neither of whom has had to decide between a medical bill and a mortgage payment. While a vote for a candidate who isn't a member of one of the two major parties can be scary, isn't it scarier to have to choose between bad and worse? Choose to vote for someone who will actually work to make your lives better. Vote from compassion, not fear. The motto of Wisconsin is Forward. It's a powerful promise of a people who believe in constant progress and leadership. But lately it feels like that progress is only for those at the top, while the welfare of the average worker is being eroded by rising costs and falling support. Robert La Follette once championed the idea that the will of the people shall be the law of the land. Right now, that object has been lost. It's time to move past the rhetoric and ensure that the strength of Wisconsin isn't measured by the wealth of the lobbyists, but by the security of the families who are currently holding this whole country up on their tired shoulders. I'm headed to Lansing, Michigan next. I have 16 capitals and many miles yet to go. If you see me in your state, don't just take a picture, come over and say hello. Tell me what's keeping you up at night. Tell me what you want for your children. I'm Augustus and I'm here to listen. I'll see you in the state where you live. Crackle, crackle, crackle. Big itch. State of our serves as a beacon. When the winter winds, wow, wind, wind, wind. We love wind. Wind is our favorite. Yay.